Okay, part deuce for the day. Bringing you back. I just got done pressing a little clay in the first half. You use anything that you can. Different pieces of tongue depressor. This one here's got busted off, but this one was really working good. To get right, you get that tip rounded off as best you can, and it really helps you get right down in there, you know. And so you can see kind of where you're trying. I'm trying to feather it out, feather the edges of it off. You get a little rough stuff, and I mean, if you work it too much, you'll end up you'll pull a little bit out of there. But I'm going to teach you a little trick that my clay instructor at school absolutely hated me finding out about. This is called pre-cleano, whatever you want to call it. The unofficial name of this stuff is called, in the DuPont brand, it's called. This is called pre-cleaner. When you're going to paint, you get a rag soaked in this stuff, right? Then you get another dry rag in the other hand, and you wax on, wax off, Danielson, right? And what this does is it removes any oils from your hands or any silicones that may have been sprayed anywhere from the surface you're going to prime or paint, so you don't get all them ugly little fish eyes, right? The DuPont brand is called, for the life of me, I'm trying to drag this out because I forgot what it's Prep-Sol. Prep-Sol is what DuPont calls their paint prep stuff. So this stuff it's got a mineral-based smell to it. It's not, almost like a, not mineral spirits, almost like a, it's not a lacquer, it doesn't really bite. What is that smell? It's a mineral smell, and what we're going to do to smooth out those transitions, we can't get our fingers in there with a rag, so we're going to use Q-tip. Okay? Well, you saw what it looked like. I'm just going to go ahead and do my thing here. And you don't, it will, you see it starts taking it off, right? So you're pulling some clay out. But it will smooth it out. You can't use too much of it. But it does soften up the clay just a little bit, so you can move it around a little and take the rough edges off that feathering. Now we're going to be putting the polyvinyl alcohol on here, and it's not going to be absolutely smooth. I'm trying to squeegee this this Q-tip down to a shape, just like the tongue depressor, to a shape that what we'll see is we had a little bit too much cotton on there to get right down in that groove down in the bottom, right? We need to just trim that right off. Clay modeling is really, it's just a different media, but it's fabrication is what it is. It's really the same thing. You're going to have to make tools. You're going to have to make custom tools you'll only use on one certain job. I've got extended paint brushes that are trimmed on an angle, the bristles, and they could be 2.5 feet long. So I can actually lay fiberglass inside this, the guy that we got the Quicksilver vintage cart from, a cousin Mike, when he passed away. He lived on a lake, on an inland lake, so he had a little RC boat with a gas-powered engine in it, and that thing was super fast. And he crashed it into the dock a couple times, and that'll happen when you're chasing speed, right? You'll make mistakes, and you'll have little ooh-ahs. I made him a mold, fixed up the busted boat, took a mold off it, and then made the deck in the bottom and the hull 2 pieces. And that was after you made the parts out of those 2 molds. You had to put the top onto the bottom. And to do that, you needed that long brush. Let's see who's calling us. Yeah, so we got no time to talk on the phone right now. We're way behind the we're way behind the sticks, so to speak, as they say in football. So That's looking a lot better. The pre-cleano will actually evaporate. So it's going to look a little shiny right now, but given enough time, it'll dry up. And when we spray the PVA on, it won't be affected. I'm just trying to smooth out a little edge here. That looks pretty good. Let's take a look. You see there's one little spot right there that Robert is not going to be able to let go. You see it? You see it right there? Let me get the right there, that little ripple in the clay. We're going to get right this. I got to do this with my left hand. Remember that crack is under there, so we don't want to go too far. That looks pretty good, because when we're done putting the green stuff on there, down in those crevices, we're going to have to be using the Q-tip to pull some of it out, because gravity's going to want it to get, and we need the shape of this thing to be what it is, you know. Again, tippy toe. I got a feeling we're only going to get one shot at this, because this thing was going to end up getting destroyed. We could, from looking at it, folks, I think we can put an air, an air port or an air hole up to help us get way up here. Any kind of air in between here is going to help. And if it breaks it loose at the top and just escapes, we can always hold it down and put the air to it and force the air down below and back up. But we got two cracks. You see that one there is filled really nice where it goes down the side there. All the way down to there. You see that line there? That's a crack in there that we just filled in. And then this crack across here traveled out a little bit to this big area here. That's the crack. You saw what it looked like. Now this side here is not going to need nearly as much work. But all of this is going to have to get at least a little tiny bit of clay in it. This down here too. If you can feel it like I can with this pick, you're going to have to get some clay in there on something that's long and skinny. You heat it up, you get it good and warm, you roll it back and forth, right, like so it looks like this. Then you're going to apply that right to your stick. It's not warm, so I can't get it, but that's what you would do. You would go right down. Let's see, here we'll go to this one in the corner, and you just press it right in. It's hard to do without being able to hold on to the mold. So let me put you on the JB Weld container. I'll turn this up for you. But you got to be able to force it down into the crack so the clay stays there, or else it'll stay stuck to the wood, right? And you just squeegee it in there as best you can. Get that little piece off of there. We'll come all the way out and do the surface up here too, just in case a little gets in there. This is looking good already. I try to squeegee it out of there so you can see the clay right in the crack. You see that? Filled right in. We're going to go down just a little bit more just to see that we've got all of it filled up. And again, like I said, with this PVA, it'll sneak in there any tiny little cracks and fill that up a little bit too. But we definitely want to get something, just like we did here, squeegeed in there. We want to do that way down here with these two, with this one down here. And this was certainly with this one here, because you can see a variance in the surface. It's actually higher on this side than it is on this side. And we're just going to do the best we can, folks, and go from there. We'll get this thing all green. We've got it's about 1:15. We'll get as much of this stuff filled up and filled in as we can, and we're going to be real patient with the PVA. You got to put a real thin coat on and let it completely dry. Because if you put it on, even though it's dry, if you put it on too heavy too quickly, you'll just be pulling it right back off. So little bit, and then we'll let it dry and a little bit more. We may even use a little paintbrush, you know, like a paint by numbers kind of paintbrush, just to get down in there so we don't put it on too heavy, but we know we're putting it exactly where we need it. Test of patience, but I tell you, over the last couple of days, I have been stressed right to the stars. This whole Gingerman thing, and it's looking more and more like. Well, I got to talk to the guy on the phone and see what kind of answers he's going to give me. But you know, I quit dealing with the folks out of Grattan because it was an abrasive thing. It was also a bit of anxiety involved in that. But looking back at it now, comparing it, you know, to dealing with this guy here, and being that every tiny little thing is itemized and added on and added on and added on, and the more they were adding it on, I mean, this thing may end up going from a $20,000 gig to a $30,000 gig, and that scares me. I feel, Bob was telling me yesterday, you're not a promoter, Robert. Well, you know what? I don't have a big-ass bank account to work with. No, I don't. But that doesn't make you a promoter. I'm very good at motivating people to send me money and get involved and come out and run their go-kart. I could come up with different creative ways to get people to do that and to motivate them. And it's been a long time since I came up short. But this thing being very expensive. I mean, the last time we came up short, the track we paid at Grattan was probably $2,800. Last April, I paid $5,000 a day. That was a $10,000 gig, and I made a couple bucks on that thing. So don't tell me I'm not a promoter, Bob. I know what I'm doing. I've just never played on this field before. Not only is the field foreign, the rules are foreign. And to say, well, you know, it's their track and you're going to do it their way, you know, or you can walk away. You can walk away too. You know, they've got to be willing to work with you. I think they should be willing to work with you. And the way they do things regularly may not be how we do things this time. And we're going to find out in 45 minutes or so what kind of influence I have over this fella or with this fella. And then we'll go from there. We'll probably take the weekend to think about what he's got to say. And then Monday we'll be doing our bi-weekly video. Instead of doing it today on Friday, we'll be doing it on Monday a little bit late. But either way, whatever we decide to do, we'll work it out one way or another. So back to work. We got to get back to the clay and start getting some green stuff on here before I got to go in and make that phone call. So hang in there, y'all. Pray for me. I need some peace because not very peaceful the last couple of days with all the added on things. And those things are adding up quick, and it's a big number, and it's like I said, am I confident I can do it? Yeah, I am, but it's different when you get to the point of no return. And then if you don't make it, you either owe a bunch of money or you piss a lot of people off. So, especially my wife. We all ain't pissing off the boss. So, back to work, Robert. We'll see you all in a little bit. Take care.